It's Polaroids. It's 20, 30, 40, 50 Polaroids of me jumping on beds filled with marijuana. All I've ever known since I touched foot on this earth was drugs or drug dealing. My father never got up and went to work, ever. Never clocked in, clocked out. He never was late coming home because he was in traffic or did overtime. Me and my mom have a very transparent relationship, so she knew from the time that I got into the game, and she accepted me for what it was. I'm an only child, I don't have any siblings. I don't really have best friends, and really never really had somebody that I could consider a role model, you know? Except for the drug dealing persona, like that itself was something that I wanted to participate in. I've been in about 4 different drug busts. Like my first one was probably when I was about 6, and I had another one when I was about 12. And then I had another one when I was 15. You know, the police come in your house, they violate you. As a kid, they violate everything, they destroy everything. It's hard to even go back into these places once your house has been busted. One incident when I was 15, when our house got busted, you know, they kept, my father was already incarcerated, and then they locked my mother up. So I asked my cousin to come get me, and from then on, I started staying with one of my homeboys and still went to school from time to time. I had friends that we would take turns going to play ball and one stand in the trap to hustle. And I had a friend, and he would be like, man, I know you want to play today. And it was supposed to be every other day, you know? Mm-hmm. And he would let me go play a couple days in a row while he stayed down, because we went in on the pack and we would split it up half, and we thought we were being smart by not having to be there at the same time if it was something that we both went in on. Like we could just, you know, spread our wings more.
What was it like at a young age being a man of the house and having cash itself?
Before I got my record deal, I bought my mom a house. I bought my house before I had a record deal. I owned a tour bus with a studio on it before I had my record deal. When you come up in a certain neighborhood where everybody does the same thing, like everybody, you know, is in this certain color for a gang or something like that, and you try to figure out why are they gang banging, but it's like, these are really my homies and my brothers, and we all under the same umbrella. This is kind of the same mentality when you stay in an area that's drug infested. Everybody that actually lives in that area feel like they have to be doing that. And I kind of came from that, and I never glorified it. And if you listen to my music, a lot of the music that I express is always in past tense. I used to do this, or I put an ED under something, because I'm obviously currently not doing any of these things, but I can't shake these stories. I came from that very thing. I came from a very dark place that sometimes is very hurtful to speak about. We were staying in Pittsburgh, right? So this is the 7th grade, and this when they first started letting me actually trap for myself. So I could sell nicks out of the window, right? So one day I see all these cars coming down the street, and like this was probably the first and only time that I've literally frozen, you know what I mean? And I just like couldn't move. I see all these cars coming, and I can't say anything, and maybe not even 60 seconds later, they bust in the house and do me bad, because I'm 12 years old, but I'm like almost, you know, I'm almost 6 feet. I'm like a tall 12-year-old, you know what I mean? So they do me bad thinking I'm older than I am. And my mom is like, you know, going back and forth. And so at this particular time, I'm separated from her again. And I end up staying with my cousin in Decatur, which is like 15 minutes from College Park. I wasn't really tripping about going back to my mother's crib, but my cousin, I'm basically getting tired of my shenanigans or whatever. I go stay with my mom in my 9th grade year, and that starts the whole 2 Chainz College Park thing.
I was a mama's boy growing up, and I understand you were as well. That's kind of how you got your first name, Tity Boi. So
yeah, Tity Boi.
Explain that to people who don't understand the connection you had with your mother.
My family called me Titty, and when I first brought it to the public eye, people used to laugh and, you know, obviously muted on the radio. But it was a natural name that I got from just being like a mama's boy or spoiled brat, you know, someone that's just up under their mom all the time. In the South, they would call them like, you a titty baby, man. You just a spoiled brat or a titty boy. So it kind of stuck for me, and I still am, even though we don't live together and stuff, but I still go over there. I lay in my mama's bed, take a nap, you know.
How did you break away from basketball and go to rap?
So I never considered myself a rapper until like I started rapping. That was like, so when I'm doing these high school games and stuff, like we freestyling on the back of the bus, I'm having older friends in the neighborhood that rap. They go into a studio, but like, it's a car wash down the street from the high school that you can hustle out of, like you can trap out of. So these dudes rolling up on me and they like, yo, 6'9", yo, tall ass. And they keep asking me, when you gonna write that down? You ought to write something down. Like it was like a thing. I tell them, I'm cool. I'm gonna sit right here and I don't wanna go to no studio, you know? The more people start telling me that it was dope, the more I start saying, what if I put a lot of attention into it? What if I put a lot of time into it? I could really do this. But I'm still like playing basketball. But I'm not thinking I'm gonna go to the NBA, but I'm good enough because I'm getting like boxes of like letters and like
Right.
I'm getting boxes of letters after practice every
you can
day.
play.
Like, you know, I'm getting a bunch of D1 letters, so I'm already knowing like I'm not gonna have to pay for my education on the next level, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still hustling, but rapping wasn't in the equation. I'm just hustling and I'm playing basketball, you know what I'm saying? And I'm buying teachers like Burger King and shit so they won't fuck with me, you know what I'm saying, when I leave school. These people try to tell me like, you need to take that SAT, you need to take this SAT. They try to get me to take it, 11th grade, all these times. I tell them, I don't need to take it, but one time I'm gonna pass it, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like super cocky. So I get locked up on a Friday in high school for selling weed to some dude, and this dude gets caught smoking weed in school. I missed the SAT, that was on a Saturday. And when I later talked to the coaches, they asked me, you know, how you feel about the test? What you think about the test? And I'm like terrible at lying, but I told them I think I did pretty good, but I'm really like, I'm just really thinking I'm throwing my life away. Like the night before, I'm packaging up all this weed going to school. My mama's asking me like, where are you about to take all this stuff? And I'm telling her, it's Friday, right? And I remember I tried to blame everything for me going to jail. I tried to blame the cell for being janky. I tried to blame my mama for telling me don't take all of it, but it was my fault.
Right.
So every other D1 school that was kind of interested in me just started fucking with me, period. Like no one called me anymore. No one wanted to come to a game. And I ain't think about rapping not one bit, but I could tell you that when I was very young, I knew I was gonna be like something like people always, I can just brighten up a room. You don't know when your time coming. Like no one can see the future, you know. Like I said, I had a feeling, but I think the thing that kept me going was the fact that I knew people who were successful. Like I was close to them. And I never once said that, man, this can't happen to me. I always thought like, this could totally happen to me too, you know. I could tell you I wanted to be famous and I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be both of them. And my strategy was that I was gonna work hard to do both of them. I was gonna put myself in a position to do both of them. Being around a Luda and watching him grow and expand was something that I learned a lot from. Being around Wayne, watching him grow and expand was something that I learned a lot from. But the thing with Wayne is I saw like his formula and I'm like, okay, so you gotta record all day, every day, even when you sell $1 million the first week. You know what I mean? You need to be in the studio. I get it. Like you can't take it for granted. You got God-given talent, and then you got work ethic. And then when you combine them, you get people like Lil Wayne and Kobe, LeBron, Jordan. Like, you know, it's certain people that are just, everything they do is so effortless because of the amount of work ethic that we don't see. I'm just thankful that God did it when he thought it was the right time to do it, because if I had to make the decision, I probably would have done it years ago and my time would have probably be gone by now, yeah.
Other people always wanted you on their albums.
Yeah.
Tell me what that felt like.
That's a blessing, man. I always wanted to be a go-to. You know, it's the same thing in basketball. Somebody you can count on, you know. Somebody you can count on, you know, I'm gonna come to work, show up on time, make an impression, do my job. I think people know that they can count on that from me. I'm gonna treat that record as if it was mine. I'm gonna express myself differently on every track. It won't be the same delivery. people know my passion, so. But I think, the main thing is being true to yourself. Like I hadn't changed. Like I still talk the way I talk, move how I move, on or off the camera. It's about being transparent, and fortunately for me, it works for me, you know what I mean? I pick up, I might, get a few new fans a day just off me being myself, and I appreciate that too.
I came from nothing, food stamps, drugs, and now I have two 10-year-old twins, and I have a 3-month-old son. They'll never understand how we grew up, the struggle, the hustle, the drugs, the abuse, the violence. They live behind gates and they go to expensive schools. How do you teach them to still stay humble and grounded and understand that not everyone has a chance to live like our kids live?
Sometimes you have to tell them the truth. Like through me, a lot of the times my kids learn through my music, which is shaped the way I actually record nowadays. So it's important that we nurture them, and they like to learn, which is always good. Like if you can just keep that forever, that I want to learn forever, I think it'll help you grow. So.
The only thing I ever did was smoke. I started doing that at 14.
Yeah.
Tell me what that plan means to you.
Well, I just saw my folks do it, that's all. So I can't say that it didn't influence me because I saw it many of times. I used to roll dollar bills, whatever piece of paper, just to practice with nothing in it. So I guess I can be overwhelmed or get an anxiety type of feel due to
so many guys.
My name, 2 Chainz, has been called a lot of times, and it's for me. Like I don't try to like convince anybody else to do it. This is like what I like to do. If something doesn't go my way, I don't lose sleep over it because I don't think it's worth stressing over when I know it's people outside of this circle that I'm in that's really going through the hardships and the hard times. Like all these rich problems and stuff like that.
Perspective.
Yeah. God has just blessed me to take me through so much rough terrain so early in life that this stuff is like not as bad as you guys are making it seem. Puff Diddy Combs called me and told me that I had a classic album. That mean more to me than, man, I can't even explain that because he had something to do with a couple classic compositions, and to call me with a straight face and be like, this is classic material to stay on top of their head, let people know what's going on here. It just, it tributes to how much time and thought I put into this project. I wanted to show growth. I wanted to teach lessons. I wanted to spread game. I wanted to preach Black excellence. I wanted to inspire people. And it just hit off really well. So when I get so much good feedback by so many great music legends, it made me feel like I made the right decision to put most of my substance into my music, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of the sole survivors of this stuff, of this street rap, inspiration, trap, I think I might be on to something.